Hello, Revere, and welcome to the February show of the Revere Senior News. We have a special guest, but before I do that, my co-host Steve Fielding, director of the Senior Center, and our guest, and it's an honor to have you, Allan.
Thank you.
Allan is the senior staff member of 311 calls in the city of Revere. So first of all, let me welcome you, Allan.
Thank you, Morris.
For coming.
Good to see
Welcome
you, Stephen.
Why don't you give us a little history of 311, when it first got started in Revere, and what it's all about?
Well, the first 311 system started back in 1996 in Baltimore, Maryland. Mayor Martin O'Malley was looking for a way to ease the burden of his 911 system. People were calling 911 for a lot of non-emergency issues, so he established 311. The slogan was, if you have a house burning, call 911, a burning question, call 311. Our motto is one call to City Hall. Revere 311 was established back in October of last year. We've been operating just over a year. In the first year, we took 27,000 requests for service from constituents. When Mayor Arrigo was first elected to the City Council, his first motion as a councilor was for the city to establish a 311 service for the residents. And when he became mayor, he put that into motion using a state-funded grant. The 311 service was developed. We're actually under the Office of Innovation and Data Management, headed by Reuben Cantor, and myself, along with two other staff members, staff the 311 office located on the second floor at City Hall.
Right, Al. Before we continue, we have some senior news from the Revere Senior Center.
Let's
Steve,
get to the news.
Okay,
give us a
so,
little of the news.
oh, thank you. So anyway, I just wanted to say welcome. It's great to have you. And I have used it personally, and I found it quite effective. So 311 is a great service. Before I get into the Senior Center news, I want to just make sure that people read the Revere Senior Power, the February 2019 edition, because on the front page I talk about a very special relationship that the Senior Center has with Revere TV, and we're in our 6th year with them. They help produce this show, which is the Revere Senior News, which Morris and I have been doing for approximately 4 years, a little over. And they also come down and tape all of our events down at the Senior Center, including the special monthly luncheons, any special events, open houses. So we're very thankful to Bob Dunbar, the executive director, Rick Promise, who is our, I call him cameraman Rick, for lack of a better word, because he comes down and he produces, he tapes and all the shows and everything that we do down there. He's the scheduling and program coordinator, and also Andrew Love, who is actually producing this show, and he's the production coordinator here. So we're very thankful to have them on our team, part of the senior family, so I'm very grateful. The Senior News that you are watching now is on every week on Channel 8. It's on Mondays at 9:30 a.m. and Wednesdays and Fridays at 5:30 p.m. And that's just one senior bit of information that's on Revere TV. Since we're in the middle of winter, I just want to go over the weather policy, Morris and Allan, just so seniors know when we're open, when we're not, and if they should call the Senior Center. So the Rossetti Cowan Senior Center will be closed, and the senior shuttle will not be operating when Revere Public Schools are canceled due to inclement weather. However, if the weather is creating a commuting problem, regardless of whether schools are closed or not, your best bet is to call the Senior Center at 781-286-8156 and check out, what the most recent update is. Also, we have a couple of things coming forward in the month of February. As I said, we have a special monthly lunch every month, and on February 26th, which is a Tuesday, we have a special lunch at 12 o'clock, and we have a special DJ who we know, Alan LaBella, who will be there on at 1 o'clock. And I would advise seniors who read the newsletter or who want to come to this, you better call early because Allan certainly attracts them. Anybody named Allan attracts people, don't they?
Yeah.
So Allan LaBella is everybody's friend, and everybody who is a senior loves him. So it'll fill up fast, and I'm going to have to cut off at a certain point because we just don't have enough space. So some really interesting things happening at the Senior Center in February. We're having a Super Bowl party for the second year in a row. February 1st, about 10:30, 11 o'clock, we're going to have videos on our 80-inch flat screen TV of the 2018 Patriots season to date. We're going to have a fake Super Bowl trophy, a Super Bowl cake, a Patriots cake. Everybody's encouraged to wear their red, white, and blue Patriots gear. If you don't have football gear, then you can wear red, white, and blue. And we'll have all kinds of snacks. And we're going to have a special prize. If somebody picks the right score and the right team, the winning score, they're going to have a special lunch with me, I think. That's what we did last year. So we'll see.
Who won it last year?
Nobody even came close.
So who?
To the
Nobody
final,
got it?
Nobody won.
Oh.
So I guess nobody
Well,
wanted
you
to go
gotta
to
be
lunch
right
with
on the
me.
money.
Yeah,
That's why you should be.
Yeah, it is right on the money.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but nobody came close.
Okay.
So anyway, let me go through a few things, and then we'll get right into some questions with Allan and talk about 311. Our senior book club is being held February 21st, which is a Thursday, from 2:30 to 3:30. It's a great read. That's one of your jokes, remember?
Go right ahead.
Okay.
You're welcome to all of them.
Blood pressure and consultation with our friend Carol Donovan, who's a city nurse. She comes down on February 7th and the 21st, and she's usually there between 11 a.m. and 12 p.m. Mary Marino of Mary's Affordable Hearing Aids, she's coming down on Tuesday, February 26th, between 10 and 12. If you need consultation, a hearing test, replacement of batteries, she's there for you. We have a great woman named Barbara McDonald. She has the chair massage, and she really helps a lot of people. And she's going to be there Monday, February 4th, and Tuesday, February 5th. And she's there usually around 9:30. So, and she'll stay as long as it takes. Monthly podiatry clinic will be available for seniors on Wednesday, February 6th, with Dr. David Kaplan. And the only other thing I want to mention before we get into our special guest and his topic of 311 is that we do have a SHINE counselor. SHINE simply means serving the health insurance needs of everybody, or seniors, or elders. And you need to see Barry Olevsky, who is there every Monday for 4 appointments. She's there between 10 and 2. You need to call the Senior Center at 781-286-8156. Barry can help you with people turning 65, talking about your health care needs, and she's been there for a while and has a lot of experience.
When you say turning 65, does that mean you got to be a senior 65 and over, or you can be 60 and still come there soon?
She usually helps people 65 and older because one thing she does is certainly navigate through the Medicare issues with a person, and then somebody who's been in Medicare for once they're in there.
So they have to be 65.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
People between 60 and 65 usually don't qualify for Medicare. So,
Okay.
And after that, there's all kinds of supplements, there's the drug programs, and she can help you with that, okay?
Good.
All right, so let's talk to Allan.
Okay, Allan, I have a good question for you now because we're into the winter weather. We have snow. We haven't had too much except last month in January. We had a couple of cold days. But let's say we get a big snowstorm in February. What does 311 do for the people if they call you up?
Well, I mean, for example, we were open. Our normal hours are the operating hours of City Hall.
Which is?
Monday through Thursday from 8:15 to 5, and on Friday from 8:15 until 12:15. That doesn't mean you can't reach us in the event of an emergency like a down power line or a water main break. If you called 311, you'd have the option of being transferred to a live person who would dispatch the appropriate person out to the emergency situation. You can always leave us a voicemail message that will be returned the following day. We also receive a tremendous amount of requests for service on the smartphone app that you can download at Revere 311 on your smartphone. You can also email us at revere311@revere.org, or you can make a request on the homepage, the city homepage, revere.org. But when people call us during snow emergencies, for example, we're there live. We were there at the call center Sunday from 7 a.m. until 3 o'clock, taking calls from constituents who had concerns about plowing and salting and just general questions about what's open, when my trash is going to be collected. Is that affected by the storm or the holiday on Monday? But during the snowstorms last year, we had a very bad winter last year, we took up to 700 calls in one day.
Right, now I've got to ask you this question.
Yes.
When the snow plows come down the street, people shovel out, let's say, and my street has been very good. From the house to the street, they open up a pad. But sometimes the plow comes down and fills the pad up again. If that pad gets filled up by the plow, can people call you and tell you what happened and have someone come down and reopen it for them? Or that's their job?
Yeah, in most cases, no. I mean,
Okay.
the plow has to do its job and clear the street, and we ask people not to shovel the snow out from their driveway or sidewalk out into the street,
No, but
especially
I mean-
after the plow has gone down. But you're best served if you wait until the plow finishes plowing.
Completely.
Yeah, exactly, and then shovel out your driveway.
Okay, that's good to know. No, that's good to know because I did hear someone complain
Right.
at senior center.
Yeah.
I shoveled my driveway and they filled it in again.
Right.
Okay.
I don't know what the solution to that is because the plow has to come down the street and clear the street.
This is kind of a two-part question, Alan. One, I think people should know, and I'm sure you talk about it, is that it's not just a call for problems.
Correct.
People do call for information as well.
They do.
And the other part of that question is, do you have a system where you can understand multiple languages? And I think that's important for people to know as well.
We do. We have a Spanish-speaking constituent service representative in the office with us, and also my colleague Randall speaks Haitian Creole. Angelica is fluent in Spanish, but we also have a interpretation service that can interpret on the phone live in a multitude of languages. But people do, you're absolutely right, Stephen, people do call us with just general questions. For example, we had a call from a senior a couple of weeks ago who couldn't find the deed to their home, and they didn't know whether they came to City Hall or where they go, and we got all the information from the Suffolk County Register of Deeds for them and gave them all the information about how they could write in and get a copy of their deed for their property. We got a call last week from a gentleman whose aunt had died and left him her condo on the boulevard. And he was in Texas. He didn't know anything about the property and needed some direction in getting to the Board of Trustees and the property manager, and we got that information to him. Morris, I understand you were interested in getting your birth certificate from Kings County in Brooklyn.
Right.
So if you went on to the New York Department of Public Health and Mental Hygiene website, they would be able to send you out your birth certificate within 24 hours if you went online, and the fee is $24. You could also write in, and they would mail it to you. If you wrote in, it would take 30 days, but you could get it if you had access to a computer within 5 to 7 days.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
During the snowstorm last year, we had a senior who had to get a document, very important document, faxed out, and they had generally gone down to the Staples to use their fax machine, and they didn't know where to go, and we located a fax machine for them during the storm. So we do try and help people in every way we can, and I like to say if it's better to say we can get back to you with the information than not give you the right information.
Right. I have this good question for you. You have, I don't know how many plow trucks there are in the city of Revere. They can't all be in the same place at the same time. Do you ever get calls where people say, when are they going to come down and do my street?
Well,
How
yes,
do you
we
keep
do get
tabs?
those calls. Well, every plow truck is equipped with a GPS system, and
Every one of them?
Every one of them, every piece of equipment owned by the city and by the contractors that the city used during snow storms.
So the city
have
supplies them with a...
We do. We supply them with a GPS device that's on
that's
the
great.
equipment, and we have a monitoring system in the center where we see the plow, their location, and where they are. We can track what the last time they went down the street. If you're calling and you say, well, I haven't seen a plow in 4 hours, we can see that plow just went down your street an hour ago. And then we'll put in the request to have the plow come back again.
I don't want to give my age away, but I
No.
remember years ago, it wasn't GPS, it was radar.
Yeah. So we have that system, and we also have the DPW foremen are equipped with a handheld device. So every time we put in a request for service, let's say it's a catch basin that needs to be cleaned or a pothole, the foreman of that particular department gets that request on their handheld device, and that's how they allocate the work. And when they complete the job, they close it, and the information is sent to us, and then we close the service request that we
great.
created.
So Alan, I know you take thousands of calls, thousands, and I'm sure at this point you may have some duplicate calls or calls that require you to maybe look up the same thing you may have done before. So I guess my question is, do you have some kind of data storage device or some kind of trigger? So like you said, if somebody needed a deed or somebody needed to know a particular thing researched, you could, plug that in and something would come up, so you don't have to start from scratch again.
We don't, and that's available to the residents as well. We have a knowledge base of information that the residents can access with the answers to the most commonly asked questions. How do I obtain a birth certificate in Revere? Or that's all on the system when they log in. But that brings me to an excellent point, Steve, is that the data that we accumulate is analyzed by Ruben in the Office of Data and Innovation Management and the mayor. They sit down and they look at the data and see particular areas that may require a little bit more attention, or boy, these service requests are being handled very efficiently and are being closed within an appropriate period of time.
Yep.
And the mayor and the department heads use that information to analyze the work that the different departments are doing. Each week we sit down with Paul Argenzio, the DPW director, and go over all the issues that are still open. We meet with Nick Catazano at the ISD and Board of Health, and we work very closely with Priscilla Nickerson from the mayor's office, who is working on the quality of life issues in and around the city.
She's a great lady, because
is.
I know Priscilla.
Yeah, she's
Thank you,
wonderful,
Priscilla.
and
Yep.
she works very, very hard for the residents, keeping the streets clean and the city looking better every day.
Question for you now.
Yep.
You mentioned something about trash.
Yes.
People can call you. Let's say the garbage truck comes and they miss my trash.
Okay.
I call you. Do they come back the same day to pick it up, or I got to wait till the next week? for
No,
them?
no. We don't want you to wait for the next day, but we do ask that you do call us before noon of the day following.
Well, suppose they
you
pick
miss.
up in the afternoon hour.
Sure. So as long as you get to us before noon the next day.
Okay.
We work very closely with Capital Waste. We're in contact with the street supervisor, Mike O'Brien, who's a tremendous person to work with, and they will go back. We send trucks back. We do have people who are very honest and say, gee, I didn't get it out in time. Do you think we could send the truck back? And if they're still here in the city, they generally finish here in Revere around noontime. And then move over to Everett. But if they're here in the city, they'll swing back, or Mike will come back in his truck and get the missed item.
I want to tell you something about
Right.
Capital Waste, if I
Yes,
may.
sure.
They are great because I have a hard time pulling the garbage bucket out.
Right.
They stopped the truck, the driver, I don't know who it was, got out of the truck
Right.
and yelled at me for doing the
Right.
garbage. He said, get back upstairs,
Yeah.
and he took the garbage out. So
Excellent.
whoever it was, I want to thank Capital
Right.
Waste, who it was.
Excellent. Well, I'll let Mike, the supervisor, know that
Yep.
that driver is.
I don't know
doing
who it
good.
was, but he
Yeah.
goes down Standish
Right.
Road around
Okay.
8:30 in the morning.
Excellent. Well, I'll find out who that driver is. But the 311 office also does an awful lot of communication to the residents. We manage the Facebook page, Revere 311. We post the bulletins here on Channel 9. We
channel.
manage the Code Red, the reverse 911 system. If you're not on that system, if you haven't signed up, please give us a call. We would notify you by telephone, email, or text message anytime there's a unusual event like this past snow emergency. The calls went out on Saturday at 10 a.m. that the snow emergency was going into effect at 8 o'clock last Saturday
And
night.
people have to move their cars off the highway.
On the emergency arteries, yes, yeah.
Oh, not on every street.
Not on every street, only the streets that are deemed
Like
emergency
Broadway,
arteries.
North Shore Road, etc.
Exactly, exactly. And we also managed the rodent control program that is still ongoing. We have independent exterminators who are out in the neighborhoods inspecting properties and then treating the properties for rodent management.
So with the inception of the e-permitting and all the activities surrounding that and what people can do online
Right.
through the homepage of revere.org,
Right.
you tie into that as well in a lot of respects,
We
correct?
do. The e-permitting and the moving more of the services online was spearheaded by the Office of Innovation and Data Management, which 311 falls under. People do from time to time have some questions or need some assistance getting the bulky item permit. We do not put stickers on items that need to be picked up by Capital Waste that are not general household trash. You do that all online now, and people do have questions, so they give us a call and we walk them through that system as well.
Right. I have this question for you. How
Yes.
did Governor Baker and Lieutenant Governor Polito get involved in the 311?
Well, the initial funding for 311 was developed through a grant, a state grant, that the governor and lieutenant governor.
Oh, each town?
had some- Well, we were only one of 15 cities that offer a 311 service. So Revere is at the forefront of the municipalities in Massachusetts who offer this service.
I think, if I'm correct, you mentioned a figure of 54,000?
No, there's 15 cities right now that offer 311 service.
Oh.
And Revere is one of the 15, obviously.
Were you talking about the population of the city?
No, I was talking about the grant that was given to the city of Revere.
I don't know exactly how much the funding was.
But is it the same to every town, or do they go by population of the town?
I don't know how the grant
Oh.
was allocated, how the grant money, but the money was used to purchase the equipment and the software that we use.
Steve mentioned to you about the telephone calls, but I remember when we were discussing before we went on the air, you said you received 27,000?
27,000 requests for service in the
So you never
first
got
year.
any sleep then?
The first year. Well, no. I mean, a lot of people were very efficient. A lot of people do use the smartphone app to
Oh, they do?
to request service.
How do you
or
get that-
email.
Let me tell you something,
Yeah.
just for your own edification.
Yeah.
I know he takes a lot of calls.
Yeah.
Our three women in our administrative office in the senior center took 14,000 calls last year.
Yeah.
14,000. That's everything from setting appointments to canceling to
Wow.
answering
That's
information.
quite a bit of calls,
It sure
though.
is. It sure is for three people. So I know what 27,000 relates to.
Yeah.
So
Last
you-
year was just 2.5 because we had
So if you got three people and each taking
Right.
14,000, that's approximately 4+ $9,000 each one. And you have 3 people too in your office, I believe.
We do.
So you got $9,000 per person.
Right, right. And
Wow.
Randall doubles as a constituent service representative and also as a data analyst for the Office of Innovation and Data Management. So he works an awful lot on the data that is compiled.
Okay, we only have about 3 minutes left, so
Wow, the
Steve,
time
you
goes
take a minute
Yep.
and a half, you
Yeah.
take a minute, and leave me 25 seconds.
Okay, what I would like to do is, again, as I do every show, offer seniors the opportunity to come to the Senior Center. It's a fantastic place. We have a great transportation program, meals program, a lot of activities, services, and programs for seniors. You don't have to come and stay all day at the Senior Center. You can come and do your health and exercise, participate in a computer class, a book club, or exercise, and then go around and do whatever you need to do for the day. If you're an older senior and you want companionship, you don't want to stay home alone, you don't want to be isolated with just 4 walls around you, come, socialize, listen to Morris and his music, enjoy the coffee and the donuts and the bagels, enjoy the wonderful lunches that we have.
English muffin.
English muffins. We have wonderful lunches, as Morris can attest to. And the nice thing is, you get to be with people. You get to talk about many things, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's
Right.
just not a place to just sit there and watch everybody. Everybody kind of mingles together, and they get along pretty well, I have to say. It's a
Thank
very
you.
warm, inviting place.
Thank you, Steve. Take a minute.
It is.
plus.
I love going into the scene. The energy, the
You should
the
come in
feeling
and
of the
join
room.
us. You're over 60, I assume.
I'm not. No, I'm not. Not by a long shot. But that's,
But you could,
Man.
see, I
but
guess if I had the hair.
but you
if
could
I
come
had,
in and join us.
Okay, you'll get me a pass. All
Okay.
right.
Good. Would you like
He's
to
going to
wrap up?
give you a pass for saying that, that's for sure.
Go right on. I got a minute 35.
All right.
Take a minute.
All right,
50.
we invite you to call us. I like to say, 311 is not a magic wand. We take the calls. We put the request for service in that is then dispatched to the appropriate department, and then we follow up to make sure that the issue is addressed. And we advocate for the residents. We can't see everything. We rely on the residents to report things to us. If you have an issue in your neighborhood, on your street, or if you just have a general question, and there are no silly questions, give us a call. 311 if you're calling from inside Revere, 781-286-8311 from outside Revere. Also download the smartphone app, Revere 311. Visit the revere.org homepage, and would love to hear from you.
Alan, I want to say it was an honor and a pleasure to have you on the show to give us a brief history on what 311 does.
Thank you.
I would like to say to the people of Revere, thank you for listening. God bless the people of Revere. God bless the troops of our armed forces who served and have served. God bless the United States of America. Until the next time, God bless you, Steve.
Thank
Well, I
you.
hope we have another great show and another great guest.